What's your name? What's your net worth? Where you come from? What's your net worth? Are you self-made? Or you came from nothing and now you getting paid? Let's have a discussion. Let's go to work, ay. Let's go to work, yeah. Let's go to work, ay. Let's go to work, let's go to work, yeah. Let's go to work.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Self-Made Secrets Podcast. I am your host, Marissa Sample, and I'm so excited to announce my guest today. Darla Edmund is with me, and she is amazing. If you don't know her, well, you probably don't because she's off the grid, but you will now, and you'll be happy to know that you do because she's amazing.
Well, thank you so very much for having me. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to just be in your space and to participate in your energy that you give. You know, it's awesome.
Thank you.
When like we would say, like minds think alike, but when like spirits can sit down on this planet and actually converse, it's an awesome thing, because not as it's always written, as above, so below. So definitely the congruency that's taking place here on this planet between us here in this room is definitely what's being honored above. So
Thank you, Darla. You're so powerful without even trying. Oh, my goodness. You're amazing. So tell us what you do, a few of the things that you do, at least, because I know you do a lot.
yes, I do. I am a commercial financier. I've done real estate for over 28 years. And within that time, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And to me, what's absolutely amazing is just being in that space, being able to have an opportunity each time the conveyor goes around. And each time it goes around, you learn something that you didn't know the last time. So after 28 years, I can pretty much step into a scenario, close my eyes, and I can see it with my mind's eye to the end. Come out and say, okay, here's what we need to do to make this happen.
Right.
So to me, that's a blessing, you know, because it's not something that anyone actually has access to. In real estate school, they don't teach you that, you know?
I do. School, period. I don't get me started on school, but where you get your knowledge from is usually in experience.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you have all the experience.
I have. I've been there. You know, I've done awesome things, and I've sat back and blew up a couple of things and go, okay, that was nice. But, you know, I survived it, and I've added all of that to my plethora of knowledge, which has only come to serve me. At first, when you go through stuff, I call it your growing pain. When you go through your growing pain, you absolutely detest it. You just hate it, and you question God, and you go like, why me, why this, why? And you get no response. And so you kind of go, oh, okay, well, you have jokes right now, you just ignoring me. And you move on. But it took situations to be able to place myself where I am now, because through each situation I was allowed to grow. And what I didn't know then that I can honestly tell anybody now is a situation is always only there to serve you. And what I mean by that is
that's good.
You are the instructor, and that situation is the lesson. So it's up to you if you pass or fail.
Right.
And you have to be able to stay balanced throughout the whole enigma of everything that's taking place, because if not, you lose yourself. And if you fall off the cart, you kind of go, okay, what happened?
Yeah.
And you check back in with you, and you stand up and you move forward. And when you do those things for yourself, it puts you literally in a place of awesomeness, a place to where no one can move you, because you know that you know that you know that you know. And when you speak, it transcends based upon what you're saying. And people will always say, well, how do you know that? And I just, being cordial, I said, well, let's just put it this way. When the conversation was had, you weren't in the room. And they would look like, okay, that means let me mind my, beeswax.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, sort of, kind of,
Yep.
but it's just, that's our whole reasoning for coming here to earth. Okay. This is how our souls evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way I can give anyone a example of any of that is, let's say if you went to a foreign country right now and you stepped off the plane and you kind of go through their different areas and you go, wow, like they're missing. If I lived here, I would have a sale shop. I would have a dress shop. I'd have a restaurant. I'd have this, that, whatnot, the other. And you're going like, why don't they do it?
Mm.
But remember, if we haven't seen it, we can't conceive it.
Exactly.
So they have no knowledge of it.
They're not awake.
Right. They have not had that experience yet.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, they are where they are.
Mm.
And it takes, a enlightened soul to come along and say, okay, let me plant myself here and help move you guys forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the people from the community come out and they actually love you and they thank you like, wow, thank you for coming. Wow, because of you, we've been able to have success. We've been able to live better lives.
Mm.
But again, we don't know what we don't know. Here we are in 2021 and think of when our ancestors many moons ago,
Mm-hmm.
had to walk from one place to the other. If we had to do that today, we go, are you kidding me? Like, serious? Like, walk? Like, not. Right? And we go through that. But to them, it's like, girl, if you don't get over yourself, this is what we do. Come on, let's go.
Right.
Giddy up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not walking, get on your horse. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was their way of learning how to progress. But because they've taken all of those journeys, and along those walks, they were able to have experiences. We, in the future, definitely we're able to benefit from that because it has been proven that what our mental and our spiritual state is now, okay, what we're made of, that stuff is actually comprised of 15 generations.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just like, seriously, it's like perfect example, your daughter, she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She does these awesome things,
yes.
And you go like, wow, how does she know that? She's not
All
old
the
enough
time.
to really know, but you go, here she is doing, and you go, wow, okay, well, that's from 15 generations ago. That's passed down. Those are what we call traits.
Mm-hmm. Do you think being so, because I know you're extremely woke, as they would say, and just spirit, you're very in tune with yourself and your spirit. Is that have you always been like that?
No.
Is that what you were talking about came from the last 28 years of being in business, or is that something, was there like an aha moment where you were like, oh my gosh, I need to wake up, and like something that smacked you in the face, or a moment where you had to start being more aware of in here?
Well, yes, it stemmed from actually doing like a physical training. And through the physical training, our instructor stated, okay, we're going to go here. And we went to a particular location. And once we got there, I stood back and I'm like, okay, I don't know what nobody here is smoking, but I'm not doing that. You're trying to get me killed. No, thank you. And he's like, get in there. And I'm, no. He's like, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of you? And I had to think about that for a moment because the exercise comprised of trusting your feet. Okay? Not looking down, walking across a skinny ledge and trusting your feet.
And you are having that, huh?
And no, I did. And,
you did it?
Yes. And then
that's right.
After you do it long enough, you go, wow, I should be able to close my eyes, feel my surroundings. Because we're all part of the universe and everything echoes back to itself. We're all frequency. And if you learn to tune your frequency into the frequency of the universe, then you just stay on even keel. And that's what allows you to move forward in leaps and bounds, because it attracts opportunities that by your own God-given self, it was not possible. It couldn't happen. But yet you find yourself being blessed with that, favor. And
what's one example of something that you think because I'm I'm law of attraction, energies, vibrations, raising. I'm a believer in all that. Some people aren't. Is there an example of something you directly spoke and it came to be, in business and personal life? Because
absolutely.
Or is it everything? Everything you've ever done has came from you.
Yes.
Just channeling and visualizing and just speaking it.
Yes.
You live by that.
Yes. Simply because growing up, I grew up with a religious background. And when I got older, I questioned God and I got no response. And now that I know better, I'm glad he didn't answer.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, I'd be made a prime example of, right? But it put me in a place to where it forced me to think for myself, by myself.
And that's big.
That was huge. And once I overcame the whole religious factor and, got into spirituality and understand that that's who I am and know that I am. Like he says, you tell them I am that I am sent you. Okay. So every day before I leave, I always remind myself, I am God. Why? Because I'm not the big G, I'm the little g. Okay. That everything that begot itself can only begot itself. It says, you created in my likeness and in my image. So if that's so, then what does that make me? We are God's here on earth. Okay. So once you understand how powerful you are, how strong your mind really is, it will literally place you on a total different plateau. Things that you don't comprehend, you will literally sit back and say to you, okay, I'm not understanding this right now, but let me step back. Okay, let me process this. And you have to look at it from every angle. And you go, oh, okay, I got it. I see it. And some days it's just about going, because in your going, you get the knowing.
Oh.
And in your knowing, you get the growing.
Yes.
It doesn't happen any other way. Okay.
That's true.
You must. It's mandated.
Because you can speak it all you want, but if you don't actually take that step and go for it.
Right.
Will it ever come?
Right.
Probably not.
Faith without works is dead.
Girl, lots of mic drop moments right now. I love you.
Love you more.
You're powerful.
That's you know what though? When you find yourself, it just comes. You don't know how it comes. It just comes. You just know that you're you. You totally get the big picture of you represent the Creator.
Yes.
So you have to be your best you. You just show up. And if you show up, I guarantee you're giving him that space to show out.
Wow. So with that type of confidence, I can only imagine all of the success you've had in different areas. But I know this is something I like to talk to other women about, especially business women, being in a male-dominated industry, which real estate is absolutely male-dominated. The world is male-dominated, let's be real. But how do you think that's helped you in that industry? Just knowing you. I mean, or was there a time when you didn't, before you even really knew yourself, that you had some boo-boos before that? Or
well, in real estate comes with its own set of rules. Okay. And when you're a woman, yes, it is male dominant, but a female plays a very, very important role. And because that's so, you must know your place. We hear men say all the time, know your place. Well, they just spoke that. They have no real inkling of what that really means. A woman in a predominantly male space, owning her space simply means you're able to walk through that space, hold your head up, and know that you kept your droopers on.
Ooh.
Because that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And when they get crazy, you just say, hey, I put my pants on the same way you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I want my check just like you want yours. I will not let you screw me before you screw me. So let's start this conversation.
I know they try.
Oh,
I know
all
they
the
try.
time. But see, it's about you.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden now dominance just played its role. They try. But when they try, what is it that they're really saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're asking a question. And the question is, will you let me?
Right.
When you get up and you move your force through the universe, you don't ask it.
You just do it.
You just do it. You command, and it is
Mhm.
so. So that's how you know what's what.
Mm.
Oh, and then you want to make a game out of this? Cool. Tell you what. Let's go for it, boo.
You love that, don't
Oh,
you?
yes.
You love when they get, you are ready for the.
Oh, absolutely.
the
Because
action.
whatever you've got, I'm going to make you bring it. I'm going to make you tune it up. Really.
Yes.
Oh,
Try me if you want to.
This is what you want?
Mhm.
Okay, here are all my requirements. My question to you is, can you? This is what I need from you before we do anything. Because first we must have a meeting of the minds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You need to make me happy so that I can make you happy. If you can't do that, then what is this about? Let's just stay right there at the paper game and just, conduct our business. I
Mhm.
get paid, you get paid. Hey, holler at me on the next deal.
Right.
Outside of that, no.
Keep the emotions out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Always.
Always. No, seriously, that's a big one.
Absolutely.
When I come to the table,
Mm-hmm.
I don't smile.
Ever? Or do you smile after the deal?
Oh,
is done?
after. Oh, yes. I will laugh with you and chuckle and the whole 9 yards. But until then, I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
I go, You could pay me or pay me no attention.
I know that's right.
And I don't say that being arrogant. I say
Mhm.
that just knowing who I am. And most importantly, whose I am.
Mm.
Because here's the truth. If, let's just say 99% of the guys that would chase a woman, seriously, aggressively chase her. And if God had to have an active voice in that, he would just watch the play go down. And then he would step in and say, so you want my daughter? Okay, well, you have to come through me. What do you think his response would be to God? He's going to back off. So if you're not willing to deal with the Creator before you get to me, then why would you come straight to me with your shenanigans?
Mm.
Yeah, because it's okay, let me
Think
see what I
twice.
can get.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work like that. You better talk to me and talk to me for real.
Mm.
Who are you? What do you do? How much money do you have?
Right.
No, people go, like, why is money so important, honey? Because I have to brush my teeth
Mm-hmm.
and wash my 10,000 parts. If I can't do that, then what are we doing?
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to keep it real
Mm-hmm.
because we're still sojourners here on earth. We have a body. The body must be maintained.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to keep it all in check.
You sure
and
do.
be like, and when you seen me, I was good to go.
Mhm.
And my whole intent is to make sure that I stay that way.
Right. So you coming into my life should do nothing but
Enhance
enhance
everything
my
that
life.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. If it's not turning on, if your light is not making my light brighter, something is wrong.
Ooh. Girl,
Well, think about it.
that's good.
If you have a light bulb and you took the wattage of another light bulb and you
Mhm.
add
And it
to the
dim-
first light
Mhm.
bulb and it went dim, you go, okay, the wattage here is wrong, the frequency is off, but that's a bad concoction.
Mhm.
And you just know these things. So you go, we're not doing that.
Mm. You're from here, right, Darla?
Yes.
Born and raised?
Mhm.
Have you ever lived anywhere else?
I have lived in, I moved to Georgia. I would say I was practicing craziness. I did. I just packed up everything I had.
Just one day went to Georgia.
That's a whole nother story for another time. But yeah, I did that. And when I got there, I realized something. my frequency was actually too much because
for too
everyone
much.
there moves at a slower pace.
Yes.
And when you come from Cali, you're not moving like a New Yorker, but your energy stays flowing.
Yes.
And when you go to Georgia, everything is like slow, and you have to like find this space, and you know it drains you, and you go, okay, this is not for me. And then I was literally able to witness how one species of humans interact with another species of humans. You know, when they're being spoken to, they literally, one man is talking to another man, and let's say man number one is talking to man number two, and man number one asks man number two a question, and man number two would step up, but he drops his head to speak to man number one. I'm going, no. Where I come from, we don't do that. I look you in your eyes and I speak my piece.
You think that's a Southern thing, or you think
Oh,
that's a small town thing?
absolutely. It's definitely Southern. It's been that way so long that it's been inbred into the culture, into the teachings of these young men and women. They're taught, you know, don't when Mr. So-and-so from across the track talk to you, don't look him in the eyes. Don't, you know what I mean? But those were things that happened from the 60s that we know of. We're in 2021. So this is what I say. If someone still mentally live in the 60s, and you're getting down in 2021, if you can't handle what's going down in 2021, you've got two things to do. Either go back on your side of the track and stay in the 60s, or just clear the space. You know, like, don't say nilch because it doesn't make sense.
So how long were you in Georgia?
I lived there. Exactly.
You landed, then you got back on the plane.
Girl,
back to
I was
LA.
out of there. I look. You know how they said, which way did she go? You didn't even see my dust when I left. That was gone.
I know what you mean though, because I'm from Ohio. So every time I go back home, I feel the comfort of family and slowing down. But I can't stay down. Yeah. And that's what they want. That's what it is. It's slow.
Yeah.
And
so you know
draining.
exactly what I mean when I say that. Yeah. It because you're like, okay, come on, let's do this.
And if you have
let's
any
do
big
that.
ideas, if you
you can forget about it.
Oh, girl, I don't even want to.
They
tell
look
you what
at
it's like
you
when I go
like
back home.
you're thinking. You have an idea, like grandioses, like
Yeah.
you're literally planning on doing something,
Especially if it's not a
why?
Yeah, especially if you're not graduated from college.
I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
In a career
driven environment. Yeah, no, you suffer. That's where that old adage comes from. When you're female, well, your place is in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant. Okay.
Yes.
And I say, yeah, that's awesome for the man that thinks that, and the woman that believes that, or the woman that let that man treat her that way. But we know, based upon conditionings, okay, a test was done, and what literally took place is they took like a round clear glass cylinder, a bowl, cut the lid off, and put fleas in there, and just covered it. And the fleas realized, oh, we can see out, but we need to get out. And they kept jumping. And as they jumped, they kept hitting the top of the lid. And I guess they got to the place to where they beat their own selves down. And after about 15 minutes, you remove the lid, the fleas do not jump at all.
Wow.
So it's conditioning.
Yeah, it's training you to think that way.
Exactly. But
wow.
I stay looking around at my surroundings and I question me. Like, okay, that person has so-and-so. That person is doing so-and-so. What has given that individual the authority to do so? Rewind the clock. What is it? What steps did that person take to get to where they are? You know, was it through inheritance? Was it through sweat equity? Exactly how did they arrive?
Wow.
So I will sit back and I start, peeling it apart, layers at a time, till I get to the matter. And when I'm able to look at it, I go, oh, this is not difficult. It's just putting in the applied effort.
Right.
You have to do the work. And that's the problem that I find with a lot of people. they see you, they attempt to judge you, okay, but they refuse to do the work. Get up as early as I do. Go to sleep as late as I do.
What time do you wake up and go to bed?
Oh, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And I don't go to bed till like about 12:01.
Wow.
Oh, no, grind.
How long has that been your sleep schedule?
For many years.
It's a habit at this
Yes.
point.
So if I were to sleep till like 6:30, to me it's like, whew, that was like
late.
a little holiday.
Wow. That's awesome. One thing I want to ask you, because this stood out to me so much when we first talked, this blew my mind. Tell everybody how you can basically, I don't know if you said buy your name, or remember when you said if someone speaks your name, they have to pay you?
Oh, absolutely.
Break that down for me, because I'm probably not even repeating it correctly. Break that down, because it's so good. And I want the world to know what this is.
Well, for those who know, again, it's through conditioning. Our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, so on and so forth. When I think about it, I can literally go back mentally like about 7, maybe 8 generations that has suffered through this ordeal. Since 1935, the United States has been bankrupt. Okay? So when I hear someone says, oh, I'm going to file a bankruptcy. Well, from business to business, we know that does not make sense. If the holding place is bankrupt, how can what's in it file a bankruptcy? Then I always ask people, I said, let's think outside the box. Okay, so you're just going to write off all this debt, right? They go, yeah. I go, well, where did the money come from? I said, because it was settled. You got what the courts call court appointed. Okay. That individual gathers all your data. That individual gives it to the judge that sits upon the bench. The bench is really the bank. Okay. So it's all part of legalese. And it's a whole different language that is spoken. Okay. People look at a judge and go, oh, yeah, the judge, blase, blase. No, you need to understand what's really taking place there when you see what's going down. Because every judge has studied at least 7 years to learn legalese, to learn how to spell with words, cast spells with words. And when your name is your name, when you were born, you were given what's called a certificate of live birth. That certificate of live birth just says you're live. You weren't born a decedent. But it's sent to the county clerk. The clerks then take it and put it on bond paper and turn it into a stock, let's say. Okay, so it could be monetized, take it to trade. And when that took place, now you received a birth certificate. Now, if you look at your birth certificate, it has 2 numbers. Why? See, people have no clue like what those numbers mean. It's just like the back of your social. It's like your social security card. Your social security card at the front, it has a number. And then on the back, it has a number. On the back, it starts out with a letter, and then it has 8 numbers. Well, when you look at those numbers, you go, okay, what does this mean? Well, there are some forms that you will fill out later on down the road in life once you become awoke that literally ask you, especially when you're dealing with the SEC, they'll ask you for a particular number. The number that they're talking about is the number off the back of your social security card. Let's say if your number starts with the letter B, right? B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we know B is the second letter of the alphabet. So you're going to put 02, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because that is dealing with the federal side of things. The state exists, but the state can't do anything without the feds.
Right.
All taxes that are collected, the state collects it. But they're collecting it on behalf of the feds. If the feds come along and say, guess what? No more. There's nothing the state can do. The only right that a state has is through its own constitution. We have a Constitution of the United States of America, and every single state has its own Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get into that and you're able to comprehend, because you never want to understand. Because if you look at the word understand, in 1828 dictionary from Noah Webster, it tells you the word understand means to be surety, to be bond, to be guarantor.
Mm.
Now, in life, there's either man's way or God's way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other two ways. Just that.
Mm-hmm.
So that means God's way is what we call what's a good word for it? God's way is equity. Free giving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And man's way is chattel. What is chattel? Paper. What is paper? Money.
It's all about the money.
That's it. Money. That's why they say money never sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for you to go down that little rabbit hole, you first have to know who you are. Because if not, you will be misconstrued like everyone else. Presumed dead. Lost at sea, dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When we traverse the seas of commerce, that's exactly what we're doing. Everything is a contract or offer to contract. Why? Because through that contract, it's paper.
Mm-hmm.
And your signature gets it modified, and now we created the money. Once that money starts to do its thing and it starts moving, there's your chattel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either equity or chattel. There's no two ways about it. So you first have to state who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people say, who are you? I go, well, it's real simple. I go by the name of.
Right.
I've been called Darla, family of Edmund.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went to court once to settle a traffic matter, and the judge asked me, state your name for the record. I said, Darla.
Mm-hmm.
He said it again. State your name for the record. I said, Darla. He said it the third time. State your name for the record. I said, Darla. He then knew that I knew. So he changed his tone. He said, I'll tell you what I'll do for you today. If you agree, you could pay a court administration fee of. The matter at hand was not about a fee.
Mm.
The matter at hand was about a fine for 1,006.
Mm.
But because he couldn't do what he needed to do, he couldn't charge me the fine.
So you don't have to state your full name in court?
No. What? Think about it.
Wow.
What's your name?
You can just give a first name.
That's
Marissa.
it. Isn't that your name?
Yeah. So by doing that, what does that, he can't legally move forward, or what?
Okay.
Is there power? There's that much power in you just saying, here's my first name.
Here's what literally takes place.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when you're there playing that game, you really don't even want to give them your name because that's your power.
They can't hold you in contempt or do anything like that? Like, no?
What are they contempting?
I don't know. This is just what...
Your God-given right?
Yep.
See, if someone comes along and someone tells you shenanigans such as them who have studied extra to come put...
Learn that language.
A spell of words on you.
Mm-hmm.
When someone does that, isn't that deliberate deception?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we speak plain English? Now, if you look at English, the English word is made up of 3 different languages. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go, all right, I see that. Then when you study those languages, you go, Now, who were the individuals who went and conquered those places that made them speak that language?
Right.
Okay? Because those who run this planet, the 1%ers who run this planet, they get it. They know what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
They do not go against God. They do not.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they do, they know what will happen to them. But what they do is this. They get you to agree to what they're saying.
Right. There's a rich language and there's a poor language.
Oh, all day.
Usually it's the legal. Yeah. It's the legal, and the legal language to me. Somebody once told me that, what did he say? He said the rich speak a language of Latin and the poor speak a language of like Arabic or something. And it's done on purpose just so the poor can stay poor and the rich can stay rich.
Yes, because language is important.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's
the way you
about a
speak.
pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, remember something. What was the very, very first thing God did? The very first thing He did. Start in Genesis. The very first thing. God spoke it and it was so.
Mm.
So when you are God here on earth, you utter.
Mm-hmm.
And you speak, because that it serves reverence. It is your opener and your closer. If I have to walk into a court building, you know how like you come in and then you got to get past the metal detectors?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll do that. And right after you pass that, they'll like wave you through. I'll stop and I'll stand there and they'll like flag me forward.
Mm-hmm.
I won't move. Then that forces them to like turn around and address me.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do that, the first thing I ask is permission to come aboard. Why? It's a vessel. Look at a court building. When you come in, there's only two signs.
Mm-hmm.
One says entrance and the other one says exit.
Wow.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now break that down. Entrance. Entrance is in trance. Okay? And when you leave, it's exit. What's exit? Axe it. That means the trance has been cut.
Mm.
Why do you think so many people go to court and all they're trying to do is get out of there? Because they're trying to break the trance. They know something is happening. They just can't prove it.
Wow.
So in your very own defense, you have a right. When someone asks you certain questions, first question you say, do you have what do you call it? They all have bonds and they all took an oath. So you say, I accept your oath of office.
Mm.
When that happens, that means I'm not here. We're not going to argue because I remain in honor.
Mm-hmm.
But what will happen, I've now taken you from your place over here and placed you right here on even keel with me.
Mm.
And what I'm saying is I'm your friend. So now, because we're friends, I need your help.
Mm.
You know what's happening back there behind that desk. This is what I need. And they'll tell you as soon as you say, I accept your oath.
Wow.
I accept your oath of honor. And they'll go, okay, how can I help you?
Mm.
Oh, well, let's go. Let's make it happen.
Wow.
So people need to as the question that you originally asked is about the name. You need to secure your name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When Yahshua was going to be born, an angel went to Mary and said, what? Hey, his name shall be.
Mm-hmm.
Don't name him Johnny O Giddy Up. Right? This is his name. This is what you give him, because that name is going to do something. It comes with a vibration, a frequency that's going to open ways. So this is the name that you must give him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Names are important.
Yes,
So whatever name you have to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you protect it? By way of a name change.
Mm-hmm.
And on that name change, you're not changing your name. You're just changing the spell. What's the spell? Think about it. We're sent to school to learn how to spell, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But what other time in life do you hear that word? A spell.
Witchcraft or something. Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking on that, people say, lead is poisonous. But yet you send your child to public school. They're given a number 2 pencil that has number 2 lead in it. They hold it in their hand. They stick it in their mouth. And no child has died from that.
Mm-hmm.
But yet you want to say lead is poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When it's concocted with other things, absolutely.
Right.
But in order for you to cast a spell, you need a wand. What do you think a pencil is?
Mm-hmm. So how would you respell your name, or buy the rights to your name, or do that in order to, like, if when somebody speaks your name, or I don't remember what exactly it was you were telling me, but something along those lines, and you were like, do you want to pay me $250,000?
$250,000 per occurrence, because you
was
are
that
violating.
You buying out your name?
No,
or is
you're
that
violating. I have a fee sheet.
Oh.
If you violate
Mm-hmm.
me, I become the injured party.
Mm-hmm.
When I am the injured party, then I have the right to be compensated for my injury. Here's my fee sheet, $250,000 per occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my name is federal trademark. So if the name has a trademark, okay, it's just like the name Sony. You just can't take the name Sony and write it on anything and put it in anything. No, you don't have their permission.
Right.
Well, neither does anyone else. So when you go to court and you have a name change, you're not changing your name. You will not change your Christian given name. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our brothers like to go out and go, well, I'm adding L and Bay to the back. And then as soon as something goes down, they get whopped with that all capital name. They don't see L and Bay on that paper nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they went after the trust. What's the trust? The BC, the birth certificate. That's what holds the money.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. That's how money is created. That's where chattel comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to create a case. That case then gets bonded.
Mm-hmm.
Bonded. All bonds are out there floating around for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
This is how the United States make money.
Because they actually, I talking to someone else, I heard that each child that is born and birth certificate that is printed, they can use that and get $25 million.
Yes.
Or
100
billion or 100
million.
Whatever a big number. Like they
Yes.
use that as
Yes.
form of, and they get a loan. That's how they get a
Yes.
lot of their money every time someone's born. And
Yes. Well, it's just
Is
like
that
a
true?
mortgage. Absolutely, it's true.
That's crazy.
It's just like a mortgage. When you get a mortgage,
they mortgage out every baby that's born. That's crazy.
In banking, what's the number one rule in banking? The number one rule in banking says that a bank cannot loan its depositors' monies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep.
So if the bank can't loan its depositors' monies, and I bought a house for $1.8 million, where did the bank get $1.8 million? Whoever cut that check, I want to meet that person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all they simply did was took your signature off that application, took it to the Fed window, which is the Federal Reserve window. The feds ran your social, tapped the back of your account, okay, drew down the money, made the check payable to the bank. The bank went and they cashed it, and then they drew up paperwork and said, here, you owe us for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't thinking. There's a law in mortgages that says, okay, first thing that they will do is get all the mortgages and bundle them. We've heard of them bundling mortgages and selling them. Okay. Well, the moment you bundle a mortgage, it's no longer a mortgage. It is now a security. So you have securities that's been bundled. Well, read the law. The law says if a mortgage is bundled, it is no longer a mortgage. So if it's no longer a mortgage, how dare you continue to collect?
Mm. Have you gotten out of things like that?
Oh, yes, all the time.
Just by reading?
Knowing. See,
reading, knowing, and knowing how to talk.
Knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep.
It's like common sense. Common sense is not common. There's nothing common about common sense.
Absolutely.
Common sense is a God-given act.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that are poured within you, the living man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be that. You have to vibrate on those frequencies so that you know, okay, this is where I am.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know? I don't know how I know, but I know that I know.
Mm.
And God says what? Ask and he shall receive. If you ask for wisdom, oh, it's coming.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It will meet you on your terms at your doorstep.
Absolutely.
And when you see your life start to blossom and grow in heaps and bounds, but grow from a place to where it's not accessible. People just can't reach up and just snatch you down and just touch it and just do no.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because now the gift of gab comes and it flows.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to step back because just listening to you, they know that you know something.
Mm-hmm.
Now they become the inferior because it's like, no, I really don't want to do that to you because I think that if I do, I'm going to have some problems. Yeah, you're going to have a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell folks, look at me good. I just look like this. This is not the REACH program. Honey, I'm not low-hanging fruit.
Right.
You know,
I
now
just look like this.
Yeah.
I love that line.
Mm-hmm.
And don't play with me. I just look like
Yes.
this, okay? I love it.
All day.
Do you This is a really hard question,
Mm-hmm.
but what is one piece of knowledge or advice that you know that you think should be illegal? Doesn't have to be illegal, but should be because of how good it is.
One piece of knowledge
That most people don't know.
Ignorance. It should be
Ignorance.
illegal all day long.
Well, that,
My God, listen. The Creator says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." It's
That's
everything
right.
that we don't know is what hurts us.
mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're harming yourself, that's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Why would the people who know better watch the people who don't know better
Mm-hmm.
injure themselves? But they do it to take advantage
Mm-hmm.
until they wake up.
Yes.
Okay? In any court, the DA will say that you are an infant and you cannot handle your own affairs.
Mm.
So therefore, they appoint you a court-appointed attorney who's only going to hand you over, attorn you to what? It's like
The judge.
the judge in any single case, he's only the administrator.
Mm-hmm.
He's nothing else. We go in there, we go, "Oh, you're the judge." Like, oh my God, okay, I can't
Little
breathe.
newborn
No,
babies don't know
that
nothing.
is a administrator.
Mm.
When you say I have an administrator, a court appointed administrator, what is a administrator's responsibility? Their responsibility is to do your bidding. They can't do anything to you unless you give up that right. So they always ask you, do you understand the charges against you?
Mm.
And you stand there and you go, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you said yes, what you just said, they spoke legalese to you.
Mm-hmm.
You thought understand means to have comprehension. And it does not mean that.
Mm-hmm.
Understand means to be surety, to be bond, to be guarantor. So he says, do you or will you be surety, the bond, the guarantor? And you say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you off to the tracks from there, boy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Right? We know what happens thereafter.
Yep. You
So-
get charged.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. So those are
Ignorance.
things that happen. I tell anybody, before you go commit a crime, do yourself a favor. One big, huge favor. Go find out what the bond is. Find out first all the penal codes that could be used against you in that crime. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is find out what the charge is for each one. And be smart enough to ask a judge
Mm-hmm.
for the true bill. Because if you know the true bill, then that's giving you a dollar amount. And through that dollar amount, you say, Your Honor, I'm here for offer and settlement.
Mm.
Let's settle this matter. I stay in honor. I would like to settle this matter. I would like to settle this matter. The United States have been in bankruptcy since 1935. So there is no money.
Mm.
There's only credits.
Mm-hmm.
So there's documentations and paperwork that's out there where you can actually provide the credits to cover that. One of them is your birth certificate.
Mm.
Just knowing how to take your birth certificate, turn it over on the back, Patriot Order, United States of America, put a 2-cent stamp on the upper right hand, turn it to the back, put a 2-cent stamp at the lower right, put your thumbprint on it and sign through it. Why are you signing through it? Because you just canceled out the stamp.
Mm.
What gave you the power to cancel something? Didn't that make you a master when you can cancel something?
Mhm.
Now, what are we canceling? We're canceling the post. So when you did that, you became the postmaster.
Wow.
There's so much, but they spend so much time in teaching us foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see Spot go, see Jane run,
They don't teach us the real.
and they never will.
And they won't. Yeah. They won't. They don't want people to be awake. They
Well-
want us to be newborn babies
Well,
forever.
Of course, because they get to keep. I mean, think
Control.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it from this perspective. Let's say you are a foster parent,
Mm-hmm.
and the more babies you take in, the bigger your check.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it to your advantage to get as many babies as possible? Well, that's simply what's taking place.
Wow.
So I always say, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Hello.
Learn the game so you can come back to.
Wow. Girl, You're amazing. What do you think, if you could pinpoint one thing that's contributed most to your successes, what do you think it is?
My willingness to grow.
That's good.
Just wanting and desiring more,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that I don't know.
Mm-hmm. You don't know everything.
Right. You can't.
No matter how successful you are, you don't know everything.
No.
You have to be willing to be open to
Stay
growth.
open. Right. And as long as you stay
love
open
that.
to growth,
Mm-hmm.
things will just come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I've said before, you don't know how you know, but you wake up and the answer is there. It was like the creator just said, hey.
Especially when you put it out there that you want something.
Yes. Because see, remember, it's stated, the world was created for man, not man for the world. That means that the universe is listening to our desires.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? How many times have we seen a automobile and we go, oh, I like that. I want it.
Mm-hmm.
And you buy it. And it's the second you buy it, that's all you continue to see for at least 2 or 3 weeks. That exact
true.
same automobile, because it's called laws of attraction.
Yep.
It's mimicking. See? It's like, I'm responding to you. You asked for it. You got it. See?
You've been looking at me for weeks.
Yes.
Now you're going to keep seeing me.
Exactly.
I'm going to keep presenting myself.
Exactly.
Yep. I agree.
And that's how
I
the
love
universe tells us that that's how it speaks to us.
Oh.
It keeps showing up.
Girl. What's one, I know we have to wrap this up, but what's one piece of advice you would give a young girl or a young guy who is not from the best conditions in life and not, not given a silver spoon?
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing you would tell that optimistic little boy or girl?
Never, 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 never give up. We aren't taught that there's a fact. Prior to the moment of conception, there was literally no less than 60,000 sperms. One made it, and that one was you.
Oh.
So if you showed up to be that one, how dare you show up on this side of the side and give up? Yes, there are situations. Yes, there are conditions that's outside of your control, but that's the awesome part. It's outside of your control. You have nothing to do with what those people set up back there. The first chance you get, stay with it, stick with it. Dream, never, never stop dreaming. Desire. That's the only way that life will give you what you want, is when you come across and you say, this is what I want. Come hell or high water, I'm pushing for this. This is what I want. I refuse to take anything less. We see awesome success stories from different walks of life who did not have a silver spoon, but yet they prevailed only because they didn't give up. They were determined. And that's all it takes, determination. You can't get lost in the sauce, like we would say. You cannot. If you do, you're down there like everyone else. You have turned yourself permanently into a bottom feeder. So you can't let that happen to you. You have to say, I am.
Say and believe.
And know it.
And believe it. That's
know it.
also the key, I think.
You have to walk.
To add on to what you're saying.
Yes. You have to walk it out. And the first chance you get to do right by you, that's what you do.
You open your eyes to the opportunities.
Yes.
They are there.
And you go for it. I always tell people say sometimes like, why are you the way you are? I said, because I'm not afraid to jump. I said, I am a jumper. I will jump. People say, you can't do that. I said, watch me leap right off that cliff, right into it. And they go, you just did. Yes. You should try it sometimes. It's fun.
Yeah.
And they look at me like, no, that requires too much. I go, yeah.
There's no reward without the risk.
Exactly. But people are afraid, but they've been conditioned. Because I always say, you're afraid. What is it that you're afraid of? I said, show me fear. Show it to me, please. Show it to me. And they can't. I have not met anyone that can literally show me fear.
Yeah.
I said, so technically, it is an emotion that becomes a figment of your imagination. Someone has controlled or dominated you, and at a precise moment in time, sent a certain frequency your way, and that froze you. So that created that stigmata in you. And every time you had that thought about that particular thing, you just froze up. No, let it go. That doesn't serve you. If it don't serve you, tell it be gone. You know?
Absolutely.
It did not.
I'm learning that myself about fear, that it's not real.
It's not. It really isn't. Because if you notice something, the moment you overcome one, that fear will never rear its ugly head again, but another type of fear will come.
Right.
And you overcome that, and then that fear will never rear its ugly head again. It just won't. But that's all in your growing. You get the knowing, and it's awesome.
Say it one more time for me, Darla.
In your knowing, you get the going, and in your going, you get the growing. And it doesn't happen any other way. You have to be willing to do the work. People go, oh no, I don't want to do that. I said, why not? Oh, that's going to take too long. I said, well, how long do you plan on being alive? They go, oh, a long time. I said, and you don't think 2-3 years to go get that is worth it? I said, because once you've done the work once, you never have to do it again. It will literally bow itself down and serve you forever. And that's why that was one of my greatest motivations in life, educational wise, to keep getting my certifications, keep gaining knowledge. Because
something nobody can take away from
you. Never.
Ever in life.
Not on this planet. You could take away everything else I have physical. What's in my cojones, you can hang it up. Because you can't get in there.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Darla.
You are so very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And
absolutely.
Are you on Instagram or anything? I didn't even ask you before if you are you on social media at all?
I am. I have a Facebook, but it's not set up yet for my business because there's certain things that I'm doing in the background.
Okay.
And I would say like within the next 6 months, it will be done. And I'm not asking lot nor lever. I'm here to take my place at the table.
Okay.
Kick butt.
I love it.
That's what it's about.
And you will. You already are. But you're diving into the online world now.
Exactly. So once within the next 6 months, hey, let me just say this. Anyone who's listening within the next 6 months, before then, I'll come back and I'll say, okay, what I spoke of that I didn't say what it was, here's what it is. And now we are ready to launch, and it will benefit you 1,000,000%. No doubt about it. And what will happen then is for everyone that's listening, you will not have to pay the first year fees. You will not. And it's something that everyone needs. When I say they're using it now, they just don't have the option of another company.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear about that. We'll bring you, let me know when that is, and we'll bring you back on and definitely promote that to the world.
Absolutely.
So again, I appreciate you for being here. I love you. I love your spirit. You are so powerful. Oh, y'all, thank you for tuning in to Self-Made Secrets podcast. Remember to stay positive and test negative.
Let's go to work. Hey.